The streets don't play, Kanan.
Come on, man.
This is my story. This is the Southside Jamaica Queen story.
Hi, Makai. How are you?
What's up, Ashley? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good right now. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great too. So let's just jump right into it.
Let's get to it.
It's finally here, and you're a newcomer to the Power universe. How did you feel when you first read the script?
How did I feel when I first read the script? I mean, aside from the elation of being a part of the Power universe, because I was a fan of it, prior to coming on. I was just excited to really get into this storyline, and just reading the words that Sasha had put down, it just made me that much more excited to really get into what was about to happen.
Wow, that's amazing. And this role is a little bit more grittier than your past roles. How did you get into this role, and did you get any advice from 50?
How did I get into this role? I mean, one, it was a lot of isolation, not to sound weird or anything like that, but just really trying to focus in. And I guess that's also a place that you'll find the characters. He somewhat feels alone and trying to figure out what's happening, even though he has all these people around him and stuff like that. But yeah, there was that part of it. There was just again watching Power, especially watching 50 play Kanan, trying to just get that ruthlessness and that grittiness that was there. A lot of watching 90s movies, just studying that era, because that was just a different time. There was some more grunge and to what was happening back then. So it was just, it was just a lot of, watching that. In terms of advice I've gotten from 50, whenever, if we'd be shooting a scene, there was one time he pulled up on set just randomly, just literally stopped the scene in the middle. Just because he's 50 Cent, he can do that. Nobody gonna tell him no. But yeah, he pulled up in the scene. He said he'd been watching or whatever. It was cool, it was dope. And me and him just drove around the city. He was like, "Yo, get in the car." I was like, "Oh, all right, cool." So we just drove around the city, and he was kind of just telling me a bunch of different stuff about what his feelings were, his game plan for his next moves, and whatever shows he was doing, and then we got into just old stories from even if something kind of resembled what was happening in that scene, he broke it down and gave me a better understanding of what was happening. So now I have, a clearer view, and I can make better choices or different choices based on that.
Right.
So yeah, that's been the experience, I guess, building this character, getting into this world, and just being around 50, getting game from and stuff like that.
Now, yeah, you're playing the main character, Kanan. What advice would you give to your own character?
What advice would I give to my own character? Get out your own damn way. That's it. That's all.
Wow.
Honestly, man, you're gonna see this kid just trying to figure himself out, figure out life, figure out his role in his family. What's happening in the show, and he has the right intentions. He just doesn't have the right, I guess, mental fortitude for it. So. A lot, and that's why I say he needs to get out of his own way and actually listen to the people that are around him. He in a way he's mad at the world, but it's justified, and there's a lot going on. So I'm excited for people to get to see it and go on this ride with him.
And I'm excited too, because I love the first 2 episodes. So thank you again, Makai. Yes, thank you again for everything. All right, have a good one. I'm super excited for this show, and I'm happy you both are in it. Now, Patina, let me start with you. Now, everyone on the show has an agenda, and your character, Rock, she seems to do anything to protect her son. How do you relate to that role?
Well, I relate to that role because I'm a mother. I am the mother of a 4-year-old. So already I know what it's like to want to protect the thing you love the most in your life. So it wasn't very hard for me to go into that and understand Rock's motivations for everything that she does. Where you meet them in 91, Kanan is a 15-year-old boy. She's raised him alone by choice up until this point. And so she's been able to have this successful career. She's the head of this business, if you will. She's the sole breadwinner for her family, but now her son has started to become curious about what she does, and he knows a lot more than what she wants him to know. And so now there's there's the danger, right? Like he's her Achilles heel. And so now there's a whole new set of challenges and things that they're going to have to navigate. So, you know, Rock is a mama bear. She will do anything she can to protect Kanan. And I can't wait for people to get to see more of just how far she's willing to go.
Right. And I love it so far. Both episodes were amazing that I watched. And for you, Omar, I'm excited to see you in this role because it kind of reminds me of 90s nostalgia. And it brought up In Too Deep for me. Like it was similar to me. Did you tap into that role for this one?
No, I didn't actually. I mean, it's funny because even though the show takes place in the 90s, Howard is from the 70s. So he's like the old head in Raising Kanan, right? And so he has a whole different way of looking at the world, of viewing the world. His perspective is totally different, and it was fun to sort of walk in those shoes of in that way of being, of not getting it. You know what I mean? He's like, you know, this hippity hop stuff going on. You know, put on some Al Green and, you know, stuff like that. Like he just comes from a whole different world. So, but he's a selfish individual, and he's a dangerous individual. And I think those are some of the keys to him.
Wow. And really quickly, without giving too much away, what can we expect from this season? Either one of you.
Omar, let's do it. Well, it's a wild ride. There are a lot of things you think you know, but you have no idea. It's going to be in your face. Go, Omar.
I was just going to say it's explosive. It's explosive. It's you know, it's unpredictable, but it's grounded. And I think that's where the secret sauce is that audiences are gonna gravitate to the heart of the show, because there is a heart there underneath it all. It's a single parent mom who's trying to raise her kid and figure it out the best way she knows how, and that's such a relatable theme. It just happens to be under these set of circumstances because she's badass.
How are you guys?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. So you guys are newcomers to the Power universe. What was your first thoughts when you read the script? Starting with you, Malcolm.
My first thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh, this ain't trash. This is amazing. No, I was really excited. I read it and I was like, oh, this shit really good. I was like, oh, this about to be some shit. Because I was not necessarily aware of what I was going in for, what the scope of the universe was. I wasn't necessarily a big Power fan beforehand. I didn't really know the characters. I didn't really know the world at first, because I was living under a rock and didn't go to Black Twitter very often. So I didn't know what I was reading really. And then the characters were so different. Once I did go back and research and find out, I was just like, oh, so it's not even the original Power. So it's almost like we had our own world to play with and these own rich characters that my co-stars have done so well at bringing to life. So I was really impressed by the first script. Shout out to Sasha Penn. That boy good.
Yes, he is. How about you, London?
For me, it was kind of a little bit kind of where Malcolm was with it. As far as me, my first thoughts were about Power, that the whole thing was ending. That was what I got. The series was coming to an end. I remember seeing all the billboards about its final season. So when I went into, when I read for it, initially I thought it was just a mock script of some other project. So by the time I got into shooting the pilot, it was just the way it read very natural. It read very rich. So my initial thought was, if it's reading this well on paper, by the time everyone gets off book and we put it on its feet, it's going to be that much more exciting to actually, make it happen. But yeah, on paper, it read really well. So it worked out.
That's amazing. And Haley, I got a different question for you. I love the first 2 episodes. I think all of you guys did amazing. And your role, it touched a lot already in the first 2 episodes. What advice would you give to your own character?
To my own character, that's a good question. I would definitely tell Jukebox to continue staying in her lane and keep doing what she does. I think it's very exciting that I get to play a young lady who is definitely a hustler and knows that she just needs to put her head down and do what she needs to do to get into the music industry. So I definitely say just keep doing what you're doing for sure.
Hi, Shasta. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. So let's just jump right into it. You're working with some great people. What characters are you drawn to the most, would you say, from this season?
I mean, I'm it's a family drama, right? So I feel like each of those characters is equally important to me. I can't even say I have favorites. I think that they're all just amazing, and as a writer, they all give you an opportunity to write a different way. You know what I mean? Everyone has their own unique voice. Everyone has their own distinct perspective. And so, and as they've been realized by these actors, Patina Miller, Micaiah Curtis, Malcolm Mays, London Brown, Haley Kilgore, Omar Epps, we're just so, Joey Badass, we're just so lucky to have these incredible actors who have taken these characters, these roles, and they've elevated them to a place where as a writer, you're sort of humbled by it, frankly. You're just like, wow, I didn't know it was going to be that. And then there it is.
Mm. Now, without giving too much away, what are you excited about the most from this season?
It's funny. I mean, it's a great question. I was thinking back the other day, like what was the moment where I was like, wow, look, sort of, I stepped back and was like, wow, this is kind of, this is amazing. It's the family stuff actually is really the stuff that's the most interesting to me. I shouldn't say it's most interesting, most exciting. I'm sure you saw in that first episode, we have these moments where the family's all together in the diner, in their dining room. And, you see the dynamic between this family, and it just feels so real and organic, and they feel like a family, and that's a real testament to the actors. I mean, they're an ensemble, and they're incredible, and we're super lucky to be working with them. It's a great opportunity for me to just talk about Courtney real quickly, which is to say, and 50, which is to say, the joy for me has been able to work with them and to sort of, continue telling the story that they started, 7 years ago, and actually not just continue the story, but sort of create this prologue to the story, so to speak. And that's been really, really incredible. And it's been an incredible honor for me to do that.
Hi, Courtney, how are you?
Hi, lovely to see you.
Good. Thank you. I'm a huge fan of the show, and I'm so excited for Raising Kanan. And I know a lot of Power fans want to know, are we going to see any familiar characters on this season?
Do you mean, when you say familiar characters, you mean characters you already know? We've got already. You already know Kanan, you already know Jukebox. So yes, the show starts with that. But if you're asking me the question that everyone is asking me is like, is there a young Ghost and Tommy coming? Just to be really clear about the timeline, when they met Kanan, he was 19 or 20.
Okay, all right.
5 years younger than he is. So if you do the math, they're 10 years old when we start this show. So we wouldn't be seeing them.
Okay, all right, thank you. And you once
quick.
Right. All right, so let everyone know that. So you once said great TV is all about the characters, and we already know how Kanan's story ends. How was it developing his backstory, and why was it important to, add it now in the third chapter?
Well, I think, it's actually really off your first question. A lot of people were asking for a prequel with Ghost and Tommy, and including some of my former bosses. And I was like, that's not interesting. We know they both live. If you just watch them as kids, they both live. How do you put stakes into that? But with Kanan, we were able to create a whole family around him where we actually get to answer the question, how do I become the man I am meant to be? Which is a different question than the universal question we had with Power, which was, does my past dictate my future? And I think there's so much about this story that feels like it's another exploration of how do we become the people that we're destined to become? Like, what are the ingredients that make us who we are? And I just thought that was really, interesting. And in terms of just starting the process, you have to ask, when you're starting with Kanan and Jukebox, it's like, okay, well, how did they become these people? I like to say, how did they become the monsters with a heart of gold that they became?
Amazing. And as a creator of the show, what do you hope the audience take away from this season?
Well, I look at Sasha, of course, as the creator of the show, but as a person who is, really speaking from behind, I want people to see a woman in full in the Raquel Thomas character. I want them to see someone who is struggling with all the different pieces of single motherhood that I am as well. I want them to really relate to her choices. Maybe they wouldn't do all the things that she does criminally, but I do love the idea that we have this central woman character, in this story. Even though it's called Raising Kanan, the person who is raising Kanan is Rock.
Mm. And without giving too much away, I loved it so far. What can we expect from the rest of the season?
You're going to scream at the TV a lot. I mean, that's our brand, right? Our brand is people yelling at the television. And I think that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of, I can't believe they did that. Oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. Like, that is our brand. We want people to be on the edge of their seats. So you'll get that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Courtney. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Nice to talk to you.
You too. Bye-bye.